Jeez.
Okay.
All day long, I kept saying I got to do that. Thanks for sending them.
No problem. Debbie did it.
Yeah.
All day to get this, yeah, right?
I really worked hard at that.
Okay, Doug, you are live and I believe you have a forum. And it looks like all your board members have their microphones on or have microphones set. So you are ready to roll, sir.
All right. Thank you. Welcome to the City of Hagerstown's Planning Commission meeting of February the 10th, 2021. Joining me today are fellow commissioners Chris Davis, Ron Thomas, Judy Wheeler, and well, who else? Wait a minute now.
Chris Davis is with us.
Huh?
Chris Davis.
Chris, I mentioned, didn't I? Thought I mentioned her.
You did.
Yeah. Shelley, I don't see yet.
Kelly, why don't you joining us?
We're Colin, I don't see him. We're Jim Stone.
Jim was maybe. He had
Okay,
a
so
document.
yeah, that's right. He has a meeting. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We do have a quorum. Again, Chris Davis, Ron Thomas, Judy Weller, and myself are with us today at the Planning Commission. And I don't know who's at City Hall. I'd love to introduce you, but I don't know. Our agenda calls for approval of minutes from January 13th, January 27th, but I understand they're not ready yet. So we'll move on to development review cases. And the first one is 4345 West Washington Street.
Okay, Doug, before I get into this, just as an FYI, I'm going to have a follow-up question regarding the site plan on this one. It doesn't affect the plat, but before you move into the next one, I will have an administrative item after we get this one done.
So don't go too fast. Okay.
All right. Okay, so this is a subdivision plat for the re-subdivision of the Updegraft properties for purchase of land to extend the cultural trail. Property is located at 43 to 45 West Washington Street. It's a subdivision plat case S 2020-13. The historic Updegraft clothing manufacturing complex consisted of 2 attached buildings on adjoining lots. The first lot contained a circa 1830s building, which was recently demolished, and the lot is currently unimproved. The second lot consists of a multi-story circa 1880s combination retail and factory building, commonly known today for being the home of the Potomac Feed Store. The city has arranged to purchase the area where the recently demolished 1830s building was located for the purpose of extending the cultural trail from Antietam Street past the district court building and through this space to West Washington Street. The site plan is pending for the improvements at this time. It hasn't been officially received yet, but it's just about ready. We've seen drafts of it. The owner obtained approval for the construction of an elevator/stair tower on the property, which is under construction. This is kind of toward the back of the bead store building. If you look down where the building was demolished, you look down into that space, you'll see some construction to the rear of the bead store building. That's where that is. The purpose of this plat is to reconfigure the property line that currently divides these 2 tracts into 2 rectangular shaped parcels per the original city plats and creates an irregularly shaped new interior property line in order to account for the stair/elevator tower plus trail improvements planned across Library Alley behind the 1880s building. The owner will retain the property with the 1880s building, and then the rest will be given or sold to the city. There are no building setbacks in the zoning district. It's the CCNU district. No PRC meeting was held regarding this project due to the current state of emergency. We have approvals from the County Health Department, Fire Marshal, Parks and Engineering and Planning. We've also since received approvals from utilities. Staff recommends approval. And also I should point out, I didn't really discuss it in much detail in the report, but if you look at the plat, there's also a 10-foot area that's going to run along the side of the district court building that's also will be conveyed for the city, to the city. This is where the cultural trail will go up. It's shown as parcel B, 0.05 acres in the on the plat. The trail will go up through there, and then it'll cross Library Alley at the diagonal behind the behind the bead store building, and then continue up through the open space to Washington Street. The staff recommends approval.
So it's both independent parcels under the same deed, I guess, or
Hold on 1 second.
seems to be on the same drawing.
Yeah.
Over in folio, the line, no, they're different. They're different deed references, but they are on the same drawing, which is fine.
So we're approving both. Well, we're approving this drawing.
Correct.
Any questions or discussions from the commission?
So it looks like what you have is a right of way going from West Washington Street down to West Antietam Street. Is that correct?
No, just the 10-foot right of way. Actually, it's going to be pretty simple. Runs from Antietam Street to Library Alley. And then between Library Alley and Washington, there's going to be this plaza, which is most of the property where the former original Updegraff building was.
Oh, okay, okay.
Paul Park, you'll be seeing a site plan for that later, but that's more than 10 feet wide.
Yeah, this,
What I'm looking at here is I've got Library Alley that says the right of way varies per engineering drawing.
Mhm.
Is that the primary right of way that we're talking about?
no.
Now,
No,
if you look on the drawing below that, see where in the Library Alley where it says L30?
Yes.
Okay, that's the width. It's a 10-foot width, and that extends down to Antietam Street. And
Okay.
L31.
I've got it now. I'm looking at the one that has the double arrows here over where the direction arrow is. I'm looking at the wrong place. Okay.
Yeah, that 10-foot wide strip, that's where the trail will connect where it currently ends at Antietam Street, takes it up alongside the district court building back to Library Alley.
Okay.
And once you get to Library Alley, then you'll kind of dog leg off to your right a little bit at an angle to get into the park area.
Okay.
is everybody clear on that?
All right.
Yep.
I've got it now. I'm looking at the ones that have the right of way varies per engineering drawing, and the one down here that says 12-foot right of way. So that's not what I should be looking at is the small area there. Okay.
And then just so everybody's clear, on the area north of Library Alley, the two properties are currently rectangles for the old.
Hi. Who has the mouse? Could you just move the mouse around as a pointer?
Megan, and she is participating remotely.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. Okay.
Okay. So, all right, so let me get oriented to what Megan's doing here. Hold on 1 second. Okay. See where on the screen where the red teardrop is identifying the property? Where Megan just put the little cursor of the mouse? That red dot. Okay, see the white area to the right of it? That is the old original Updegraff's building from the 1830s that was demolished from Washington Street back to the alley. The dark gray that the red teardrop actually sits on is the existing bead store building, which stays. They are on two separate lots. And basically the rear part of the property line is going to be jogged where each side gets some of the other property in order to, one, accommodate that stair tower, and two, to accommodate the trail coming in at an angle behind the bead store building.
Can I interrupt and note that Jim has joined us for the record?
Greetings.
Hi, Jim.
Thank you. So it is a fee simple transfer to the city. Both the lots that were previously designated as 45 and 43 West Washington Street, as well as a 10-foot wide strip along the district court building.
Yes.
Jim, I'm seeking comments from the commissioners. Do you have any?
No,
Nope, nope, I'm okay now.
Very good. Anybody else?
No. I'll move approval of the final subdivision plat for 43 and 45 West Washington Street.
I'll
I'll
second.
Okay,
Ready? I think we already made a vote there, didn't we?
I think so.
Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Please note it passes unanimously.
Okay.
All right, Steve, you want something else there?
Yeah, wanted to get your feedback on something with this project. We're gonna be getting that site plan in, soon. I already know what's going on. We've been working with the, city engineer's office for a while. One of the elements of this park, it's gonna be a park space, obviously. One of the elements is that they're going to build a facade across the front of the property that approximates the first 2 floors of the building that was removed. This was negotiated with the HDC. Back when the building was demolished, the HDC has a concern about the loss of continuing street facades as buildings are removed in the downtown. So to address this concern, as part of the park design, there's going to be a facade basically put up. It's going to be more open than it's going to be brick, but it's going to go up 2 floors. It's going to have 5 simulated window openings across the second floor. The first floor is going to be largely open because it's going to have a simulated where the original historic store was in the center of the front, plus 2 big open areas on either side where the 2 storefronts were. They would like to get started on that fairly soon, but we haven't seen the site plan yet. My question to you is, it's basically a wall. The whole space is only like about 30-some feet wide. And it's basically creating a footer along the sidewalk. So the entire disturbed area is going to be less than 200 feet. Do you have any objection if the city gets started on that in advance of your seeing the site plan? Or do you want that to be held off until this body reviews and approves the site plan?
The only concern I have is if we approve that and then the site plan comes in and what was done doesn't match the site plan.
Well, then they would have to amend the site plan or tear down what they built.
Sounds good to me.
This is going to be reviewed by the historic.
Yes, yes, and they're already aware of it. We've had workshops with them on it in the past.
So they've seen an illustration of this.
They've been verbally briefed on it, that it's consistent with what they've asked for, but have they specifically seen elevations yet? I don't remember if they have or
They're gonna
not.
look at it tomorrow
They're gonna look at it tomorrow
for review.
for actual review, yeah.
So there is such a document.
Yeah, I should have said the elevations to you. Basically, if you remember the building that was there. All right, take the entire 3rd floor off of it. Knock the windows out of the 5 windows across the top. Take the storefronts out of the 2 large openings on the 1st floor, and that's all the brick that's going to be left. It approximates the original construction of the 1830 building. That 3rd floor was put on somewhere around the Civil War. But basically, it's just something to kind of keep the street wall continuous. But it's also being designed to be pretty open, so there's no issue with people hiding behind it or it feeling like the area inside the plaza is going to be closed off or anything like that. It's going to be 2 large openings on the front with what looks like a pedestrian door opening in the middle, which is where the original door to the upper level residence was, and then 5 windows across the second floor. No third floor, and it's just a facade. It's a wall. That's all it is, with lots of openings.
You know, I'm trying to think here, there's anything that they would be done that we would object to. You know, the site plan would, our biggest thing, and we'll be looking at is maybe the path of the sidewalk, particularly the plantings. Just a wall is a wall is a wall as far as our site plan is concerned.
And you would have a tendency to defer to the HDC on the architecture anyway.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
If you stand by, Debbie's going to try and forward. She has it on her computer. She's going to try and forward the drawing to you. If you can open it up while you're also on Zoom.
it could take.
Steve, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it possible to get some greenery around that brick or some plantings of some sort?
Well, the whole thing is going to be a park, and there's definitely going to be a landscaping plan. The wall is going to be built out to the sidewalk like all of the other buildings are. The idea is maintaining the street wall, but behind it, there will be definitely landscaping.
And that will.
Think a narrow version of University Plaza with a Swiss cheese brick wall in front of it, essentially.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, she can't get to it.
Okay.
Okay.
I you know, it's really not under our purview. I would love to see it. But I think we'll be more focused on the vegetation and the landscaping, as well as the path itself and its orientation. It'll appear on a site plan drawing as a wall. So I would just defer to those groups who have more input on that than we would.
I have no issues.
Okay, just so we're safe and you know what you're looking at, when I get back to the office after we're done here, I will forward you a copy of those elevations. So you can take a look at them just so you're comfortable with them. But unless I hear back from you, I'll assume that you're okay with it. And just as an FYI, the intent is that the trail, if you're looking at this wall from Washington Street, or if you're across the street at the University of Maryland, you have the 2 large storefront openings on either side of the front facade. The trail will enter into the right large storefront opening.
Okay.
So, but when I get back to the office, I'll forward that to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Steve, I have one more question. Will be like signage on it that indicates that it's part of the trail?
Yes. Yes, there's going to be a
Okay.
built-in masonry signboard across the front of the building. That the exact design of that is still kind of up in the air a little bit. And then there's also their intention is also to have a couple of projecting signs hanging off of the facade, like there were stores in those vacant storefront openings. One of which is going to be the standard logo for there's going to be one on either end of the facade. One is going to be the standard logo for the cultural trail, a rectangle. And then the other one, the space is probably going to end up being called Hatter's Park, because Updegraff's originally started off as a hat store, and then finished in the store. And we have a picture of the building from 1862 that shows a projecting sign in the shape of a top hat. So what we're on the left side of the facade is probably going to be a projecting sign in the shape of a top hat saying Hatter's Plaza. As of right now, that's not official at this point, but that's kind of where we're leading.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All righty. Our next development review then is the proposed bank at the South End Shopping Center.
Okay. And our engineer on this is Abram Myers. Abram, are you here?
Steve, it's me, Trevor, here in place of Abram today.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, this is site plan for Southeast Shopping Center, South End Shopping Center Bank. South End Shopping Center's site plan case ZS 2020-12. The site plan is for the construction of a new pad site, freestanding bank in the parking field with a canopy covering the 3 drive-through lanes. The building is 4,200 square feet. The total number of parking spaces required for the shopping center with the new bank building is 452 spaces. The net reduction in parking on the site will result in 458 spaces, or 6 more than the ordinance requires. Since this is existing paved surface, the site is exempt from the requirements of the Forest Conservation Ordinance. This project was reviewed by you in workshop in recent months due to the existing nature of the site and the landscaping requirements. Accompanying this application is a waiver request. That's what I dropped on your doorsteps after dark on Saturday night to modify certain landscaping requirements based on your prior conversation with them. The most notable is the absence of street trees due to the topography along the front of the site and omitting trees and the landscaping islands being installed across the front of the site's base for parking. The parking that's perpendicular to Maryland Avenue. The number of deviations is substantial enough where this could, in theory, be considered an alternate landscaping plan in conformance with the results of the workshop, but nonetheless, they submitted a waiver request. Also, I don't have it in the staff report, but part of this is a request for not doing sidewalks along Maryland Avenue. That was discussed in your prior meeting. You waived off on sidewalks on the adjacent property for Great Southern Wood because there is a significant swale within the state right-of-way, which would have to be completely redone and redesigned in order to figure out a way to put sidewalks in that space. It's just not practical. And that was discussed at your prior meeting as well. And that is mentioned in the waiver application. I just failed to put it in the staff report. Access into the site will not change. No PRC meeting was held due to the current state of emergency. Fire marshal, wastewater, and county plan review and permitting have approved it. Planning was subject to conditional subject to minor comments, as was water. We anticipate receiving engineering's approval prior to your meeting. We have received that. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the waivers and the site plan, subject to the conditions cited by planning and water. And no conditions were forthcoming from Parks and Engineering. So that's all I have.
Any comments or questions from the commission? I mean, I'll have to say, hopefully it's recorded somewhere that I'm not happy about the sidewalks being taken care of, but I understand. So why it can't be done. Someday, somebody's probably at taxpayer's expense, it's going to be done.
That'll probably incorporate changing that swale into an actual culvert system.
It'll be a
or
huge,
piping system.
Yeah.
In order to direct that water.
I mean, if we required it, we probably wouldn't get the bank because it will be paying taxes. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, if there was a requirement to bury that swale and put sidewalks on top of it, this project would be dead faster than you can say anything.
yeah. All righty. Hearing none, does someone want to offer a motion?
You want to do everything together, the approval of the site plan and the waivers?
I think
Is that what we're doing?
I think we can do that.
I make a motion that we approve the site plan, including the waivers requested.
Second,
And subject to the conditions from water and planning.
oh yeah, of course.
Yes, yes, sorry.
Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Is there anyone opposed? And I would have the notes, the minutes note that passed unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you all.
And now we have the items tabled at the last meeting, 1329 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Okay, do we have an applicant on this one?
My name is Nick. I'm with Landmark Fence. I'm the contractor for this project. Brenna's online is here as well.
Okay. Just a little bit of background. We started discussing this at the last meeting. It was tabled until the applicant could participate. But basically, it's a request to put a fence closer to the property line than the ordinance would typically require when adjacent to residential. The ordinance would typically require a 10-foot landscaping buffer, but circumstances are an existing condition, and other things that the applicants will discuss with you.
All righty. The applicant wanted to make a presentation. I did go by the site today, and boy, that's one packed parking lot. I'm surprised there's not little fender benders going on in there every other day. It's also a teeny, pretty darn small commercial grade dumpster. If part of the problem is trash overflowing, the dumpster not being large enough to receive trash, it seems to me that's a better solution than putting a second fence up 1 foot from the other fence. And I just really have me question that. I'm not a real fan of that 1 foot spacing. It just will cause all kinds of possible problems back in there, and it can't be addressed. No one can squeeze in there to address them.
Hi, I'm sorry that I wasn't available. I'm in the middle of treating patients right now as well, but I'm trying to, be in 3 places at once. What we're trying to do with a fence here is to protect an existing area that is a very tight space. The dumpster is there, but we're trying to just fit a fence in as a nice streamlined solution so that we're not encroaching on anybody's personal space or losing any of we can't possibly lose any of our parking or have the space for landscaping, as the concrete pretty much goes up to within a few feet of the property line.
Yeah, as I said, it was jam-packed with cars in there around 10 o'clock this morning. So I certainly can understand that. What have you, I'll go back to, why not just put a larger dumpster in there? I don't understand the need for the fence. And
No, it's not necessarily that the trash is overflowing. That doesn't seem to be the issue, but just that the trash isn't necessarily overflowing, but occasionally there are, it's just for an extra measure of protection for their fence. They've got some large dogs back there, and we would like to minimize any disruption of them.
well, that's very nice. I mean, you're spending money for all this. I understand that, and you're probably trying to be a good neighbor. I'm just, again, I'm really concerned with that 1 foot spacing and what's going to cause, what's going to grow in there and what's going to live in there. Of course, there's big dogs back there. There might not be much.
The other concern is if we put that fence at that 10 feet that you guys requested, that also cuts right into the parking spaces where you would lose a lot of those parking spaces because 10 foot goes into that parking space.
I understand that, and I can understand that part. I just have trouble understanding even the need for a fence versus a larger dumpster. But I just think there's problems looming there.
How long would this fence be?
It'll expand approximately 45 feet across the that parking lot. That's parking line.
The description says 52 feet long private fence.
45 is an approximate. It could be 45 to 52 feet or 56 feet. So between 45 and 56 feet is an approximate.
So
Am I-
the variance here is spacing as well as height, or just spacing?
Space and planning.
Spacing and planning.
Because the buffer's supposed to have certain shrubs and stuff, and trees and stuff in it.
If we agree to take a weed killer or something like that to prevent any type of growth between that spacing, I mean, from based on where the existing fence line is and where her property line is, we're talking only a few inches. I highly doubt anything will get in there and get caught up except for a little bit of weed. So if we spray that small little area with a weed killer or growth killer to prevent any type of growth between that. But I think at the same time also it is air beautification to kind of maintain the customers at that parking lot, to kind of block out the visualization of the homeowners in that area, and the homeowners can also have a little bit of a sound barrier as well for the traffic in the commercial area.
Am I right in thinking that these dogs probably bark a lot when people pull in and so forth?
I would assume so.
Yeah,
But
yes,
this-
that is a contributing factor. So if we could disturb the dogs less, I think that it would startle our patients less.
I understand. If there's no more questions or anything, I will make a motion that we approve this waiver request.
I'll second.
All righty. Generally, we don't have an applicant coming to us who wants to spend money. Generally, we're asking them to spend money. So I can't, I'm really, just that 1 foot thing has me bothered. I wouldn't mind waiving the vegetation at all after looking at that parking lot. But it's a small thing in the big scheme of things, so I will be voting yes also. Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
I'm good.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? It passes unanimously. Thank you. Sorry we had to hold you up a month.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate your time and consideration.
And we're sorry for your loss also.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All righty. I see nothing else on the agenda. So I will move the meeting be adjourned.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you all very much.
One question. The upcoming session with the Maryland Planning Commission, is that required of us to take those 2 4-hour classes?
I guess that's a question for me. I do not believe it's required. I think you probably took the online course when you first joined the Planning Commission. But I'm sure you will learn something. And so if you can invest the time, it would be beneficial to all of us.
is that similar to what we did down, I guess it was in Gaithersburg or whatever? Where we got certificates for it or something?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take it. I was just wondering if it was similar to that, so I'll know what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Chris, I see you're participating also. That's great.
Yes, I signed up.
Right.
I will
All
sign
right.
up for it this week.
Okay, great. All take care.
See
Okay,
y'all.
next
Yeah,
time.
thank you. See ya. Okay.